It's time for Baby and Toddler Instructions with host Blythe Lipman. Blythe is a nationally renowned infant and toddler expert who has over 30 years' experience helping moms and dads regain their sanity, teaching them how to survive, and giving them the confidence they need to be the best parents ever. From sleeping to crying to potty training to choosing a preschool and so much more. If you're a parent, Baby and Toddler Instructions is the show you've been looking for. Now here's your host, Blythe Lipman.
Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever in the world you might be. Thanks so much for tuning in to Baby and Toddler Instructions today. If you're listening live, today is Wednesday, December 16th. So welcome to the show. And if you would like to call with a question or comment during the show, I love callers. Call the toll-free number 877-864-4869. And if it's not live and you're listening to a podcast and you have a question or comment, you can always contact me via my website, mybestparentingadvice.com. And by the way, all my shows and everyone else, all the wonderful shows on TogiNet are available 24/7 on your iDevices, and you can go to toginet.com, Stitcher.com, iTunes, and of course, mybestparentingadvice.com to listen to baby and toddler instructions. And I'm getting up there. I've had over 200 guests. They're all so wonderful. And you can listen, any topic you have as a new parent, expectant parent, toddler parent, even a grandparent. All my experts have provided such wonderful tips. Love them all. So always available 24/7. Well, only 10 days left until Christmas, and boy, is it ever crazy out there on the roads, in the stores, everywhere. If you celebrated Hanukkah, maybe you're lucky this year because it came early, so I hope you all had a joyous holiday, as the last night of Hanukkah was Sunday. But I have to say, going on to Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, each year I just seem to shake my head more at the total grumpy chaos that happens before the holidays, and I wonder if it's because we start celebrating the day after Halloween. Anyway, I just want to say, I have to say this, I give my opinion. I want everyone to just take a breath and calm down and stop and enjoy what you're doing, whether you're shopping, whether you're baking, with your little and big ones in your family. The holidays and everything else goes so quickly that you want to take this time to really, really enjoy everything and make some wonderful memories, because that's what your kids remember. They'll come back to you when they're older and go, Mom, remember when we baked cookies? Or remember the time you bought something funny? So anyway, I just had to say that. Enjoy every day. Enjoy the holidays before the holidays as well. But wait a minute, this is not a holiday show. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions. And today I have a fabulous guest who'll be with us in just a few minutes. Guess what? Santa Claus is coming to town. Mr. Sustainable Santa Claus will be with us. Well, it's not really Claus. It's just Santa. He'll be with us in just a bit. But first I wanted to tell you there were no recalls today. Excuse me, but again, if you go to my website, mybestparentingadvice.com, I put all the recalls on my site. I keep them up to date. And if you have something that's been recalled, please, please don't try to fix it yourself. I have the numbers. I have the websites. I have the emails. Call the company. They'll either replace it. They'll give you your money back. And you can also go to cpsc.gov to see what else has been recalled. I see this week there's been a lot of riding lawnmowers and, things for adults. So it's always good to stay safe. And I will say it again, as I do every week, if you get a hand-me-down, make sure it's not on the recall list. They're wonderful. It's great to share things because everything's so expensive. But if it's on the recall list, you can always call the company and get it taken care of. So that was the recall. And as you know, I have 3 books. Help My Baby Came Without Instructions, More Help My Baby Came Without Instructions, and Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions. So today, I just wanted to share a few tips for surviving the family dinner with your little ones. Because, we all, either we host a holiday dinner or we go to somebody's house for a brunch. And when you have toddlers, when you have babies, you want to be prepared. So first of all, if you have a baby, try to make it so you can take them to the dinner or start the celebration after their nap. Even if you have to say to the host, we're going to be, we really can't come until 4:30. most of the time, if it's a family member, if it's a relative, it's a friend, they'll be fine with that. And you can tell them not to wait to start. Also, if you're going to go much earlier, make sure to take some snacks for your toddlers. It's tough to wait, especially when you're hungry. You don't want a grumpy toddler when you're waiting for the dinner to actually show up on the table. So make a special little bag with some healthy snacks for your toddler to take with you before dinner starts, if it's going to be 4 or 5 hours. Also, pack a bag with the jammies just in case. Sometimes you're having such a great time you don't want to leave, or maybe your little one has fallen asleep. Put them in their pajamas. When you get home, all you need to do is pop them in the crib or in their bed, and you can all go to sleep. And also pack a special bag of activities. Pick some things. Maybe you've rotated your toys every month as you should. So don't forget, rotate them. Something old is always something new when you bring it back. So take a special little bag with some toys maybe your toddler hasn't seen in a while. Again, it's tough when there's a lot of adults and it seems like 5 minutes is forever to a toddler to either wait to eat, or they're tired, or they don't have anything to do. So those are a couple tips. If you go to Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, my website, MyBestParentingAdvice.com, you can order my books. And this is the chapter in how to survive the holidays with your little ones. In Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions. So you can order my books there, or you can always give me a call if you want me to autograph a book and send it. I do send out books. So those are my tips from my book. Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions. And let's see, do we have anything else? Well, I think that's enough about the holidays right now, because we will continue with Santa. Let me tell you a little bit. Richard Eckfield is called Sustainable Santa. He's a brilliant red guy with a real white beard who is a genius behind the Sustainable Santa movement. And Real Santa is united to end childhood obesity. And, I'm going to have him tell you a little more about his bio because it's amazing. And if you go to my Facebook pages, My Best Parenting Advice, Baby Instructions, if you go to the front page on TogiNet.com, you can see the article. You can see a picture of Santa. And if you're listening to a podcast, you can always go back to TogiNet.com and pull up my show, Baby and Toddler Instructions, and you'll still see a picture of Santa. So, Santa, Richard, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here this morning.
Well, it's great being here, and Merry Christmas to you.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. So I gave just a very short little bio because I would like you to tell my listeners in your own words, how did you get into this? And I think it's wonderful. And let's say what this is, because I really didn't say.
Okay, well, what this is an effort by a bunch of very concerned Santa Clauses. Most of us are former mall Santa Clauses that realized that firsthand having to lift 60-pound 4-year-olds into our lap for that Christmas picture. You've been to the mall, you've seen the little Santa house, etc.
Yes.
And we realized firsthand that we have a childhood obesity problem in America, and what kind of created the effort to form a group called the Real Santas United to End Childhood Obesity. I'm going to come back to the word obesity in a minute. Was the fact that many of us who were heavy finally got the message regarding eating real food, and read books by Michael Pollan and Alice Waters and various other people, and embraced a healthy diet. I personally lost 80 pounds. I've actually lost more than that since then. And when I did, the employer that I worked for made me wear a pillow. And this is not a pillow you sleep on. It looks more like the thing that the umpire behind home plate wears. It's a designer pillow, but it's a designer stomach. And finally, it dawned on myself and others, this is silly. Why are we having a role model that is obese when we have an obesity crisis? And to top it off, in many of the malls, the Santas are also obligated to give out candy canes and M&Ms and various other things, which again contribute to the problem. So I checked with my fellow Santas, and many of them said, yes, we'd love to change the image. We'd like to change the message. However, it pays very well, and it does pay very well to be a mall Santa. What would we do? Well, my wife, who is very much involved in the food movement, she's a member of Slow Foods and virtually everything. She owned a produce market for many years. Her son now runs it. Has great friends in the farmers markets, and talking with the farmers market managers, they said, well, why don't we have Santas here? And it clicked. We thought, wow, we can have health-promoting Santas who hopefully have a body mass index that is not a walking advertisement for obesity, but it's a walking advertisement for being healthy. And we began putting Santas in farmers markets. We started 3 years ago with one Santa, which was me, and we have now Santas scattered all over the state of California, all the way from San Diego up to Sebastopol. And I can tell you about what we do in the farmers market, but that the origin was simply recognizing that the Santas are influential with the children, and if we can get the message of eating real food out there, that's the greatest gift of all, the gift of good health. So that's the origin. I said I wanted to come back to the word obesity. While I would not change the name of the group, the Real Santas United to End Childhood Obesity, as we moved through this effort, we began to realize it's not just the obese children and the overweight children that have their health in jeopardy. It's all children because of the nature of the food that we eat, primarily the processed food, which takes out the fiber, takes out much of the nutrients, and the added sugar, as well as added salt. But the added sugar is a huge thing. 74% of the food in America has added sugar, everything from ketchup to salad dressing to everything. And therefore the children who look healthy still are in jeopardy of having, I guess the most famous metabolic disease is type 2 diabetes, but there's a million other ones, fatty liver disease, bleeding bowel syndrome, things that never, ever appeared in young people 20 years ago. They appear now in elementary school routinely. And
well, you know what, Richard? We're going to have a break in just a few seconds, and I have so many questions, and I know my listeners do as well. But really quick, yes or no, did you always have your beard?
I always had a goatee.
Okay.
My background is in city management and teaching my profession at the college level.
We're on for commercial. I have to interrupt you so we can do more talk in just a few minutes. We'll be right back. Very good.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these. I am not the woman I used to be. I'm free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet. This is your chance, ladies, to hear stories of hope and healing from someone who's been there. Someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet in spite of this trauma, she has gone on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm not the woman I used to be. I'm Free is a straight-up show to enlighten you and to lighten your load. Do not let the weight of this world or the things that have happened to you control your life. For more on the show and Diane and her book, The Story of Me, email her directly from her show page here on TogiNet. Then, join us for I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.
Hey, my horoscope in the Coffee News says I'm going to make a big change in my life.
Wow, I love the ads in the Coffee News and trying to find Cuppy to win prizes.
Yeah, and the fun facts and trivia are killer, too.
Hey, maybe we should advertise our business in there. I hear it's very inexpensive and everybody I know reads it.
Awesome idea! Let's call 903-283-0203 or go to coffeenewstyler.com and get her done.
What's that number again?
It's 903-283-0203. coffeenewstyler.com.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. The hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. And guess what? I have Santa with me today. What could be a more perfect guest for the holidays? And we are talking all about sustainable Santas and this wonderful program about teaching parents and children to eat healthy, and they don't need all that sugar. Because as we know, you know what, there's so much sugar in everything. And yes, I love cookies, and I have to admit, I wrote 2 dessert cookbooks years ago. But it's funny, as a writer, I can eat 1 or 2 cookies, but I hear so many people say to me I have to eat 6 or 7. So I want to talk to Santa about that. So, Santa, my question is, if you're not going to, what do you do when you get the 60-pound 4-year-old and he wants to sit on your lap? I mean, you're not going to give him a celery stick.
No, we're not.
Or maybe you can.
Well, no, we're not. But I'm struck by your opening when you talk about the books you've written. My Baby and My Toddler, and everyone came without instructions. One of the things that we do is we give them instructions. Let me tell you what the Santas do in the farmers markets. They do 3 things. One thing, of course, is they take that picture with the children. However, we're not selling pictures. We're selling good health. So the picture is actually taken by the parents. Everyone has a camera in their phone, so the Santa simply obliges the parent and takes a great picture with their children. The Santas have a Santa house, if you will, a backdrop, a chair, etc. So the picture gets taken by the parents. That way they can put it on Facebook. They can go to Costco or wherever and make their Christmas cards, etc. So the picture is taken care of. But then the 2 most important things we do is we give them a little card that has 3 Santa's food rules. And these are the rules that are designed to get the kids off of the processed food, the junk food, and the fast food. And I'm going to go over those rules real quickly. The first rule goes to the fact that American children, by and large, yes, there's hunger in America, but by and large, American children eat out of boredom, habit, sadness, something to do. So rule number 1 goes to that, and it goes like this. If you're hungry, eat an apple. Oh, you say, Blythe, you don't want an apple. Well, you know what, Blythe, if you're not hungry enough to eat an apple, you're probably not really hungry, and the thought will pass.
Good rule.
See, yeah, we've educated Americans in the last 20 years to just snack just because it's there. It's like become the 4th meal, if you will. So rule number 1 is if you're hungry, eat an apple. You don't want an apple? Well, if you're not hungry enough to eat an apple, you're probably not really hungry. Rule number 2 goes to what you were just talking about in terms of your cookie. It's treat treats as treats. Now, Blythe, there's nothing wrong with special occasion food. And heavens, a cookie on Christmas Eve or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever, perfectly appropriate thing. A cake on your birthday, the most important day of the year. A big chocolate cake, whatever, banana cream pie, perfectly fine. Treat special occasions, treat treats as treats. But don't make that cookie, that cake, that cinnamon bun, that bagel, that pizza a daily or weekly affair. Treat special occasion treats as treats. And the third one, and your partner is going to help you with this one, the S rule, the S rule. It goes like this. No sodas, no second helpings, no between meal snacks, no added sugar, no added salt, and no sweets, except on days that begin with the letter S, Saturday and Sunday. Now, this is actually very much has its root in a European tradition where oftentimes people would give children what they called Saturday candy. And what happens is little Blythe is getting used to drinking 2 Cokes a day or 3 Cokes a day. You keep Blythe off of those Monday through Friday. By the time you try one on Saturday, it won't taste the same. You'll have started to break the addiction. So we give them the 3 food rule cards. It has a new image of Santa, which is a healthy image. It's not the big-bellied guy. And then the next thing we do is we send them into the farmers markets, and all of the farmers cooperate with us, and they put up a little sticker that says, "Get a Santa's Garden Bite here." Now, garden bites are tastes of whole, real food. So the TGIF person, the thank God it's fermented person, gives them a little thimbleful of fermented cabbage or a little bit of kombucha. The mushroom person gives them a little raw mushroom. Most kids have never had a raw mushroom. The veggie people give them slices of bell pepper, pieces of broccoli, pieces of cauliflower, and the children get to taste real food. They learn that there's things that they like beyond Cheetos and McDonald's.
Isn't it interesting, too, because they'll go, I go to farmers markets a lot, and it's so interesting because they will go, this is really good. Or, like this time of year we have all our citrus out here in Arizona.
Right. And this year we've added one other thing. We're pushing eating the rainbow. Most people don't realize that the reason these different fruits and veggies have colors is because of different combinations of vitamins and minerals. Most parents don't really know, other than the other one that everyone knows, that vitamin K, the eyesight vitamin, is in the orange, in the yellow and orange colors, because rabbits have good eyesight, right? But there's different combinations in the purples and the blues, etc. And so one of the things the parents can do is they can turn shopping in the farmer's market into a little game with their child where they maybe pick out all reds for tonight's dinner and all purples for tomorrow night's dinner, or their children's favorite color. It's all different things they can do to buy into the joy beyond the health benefits, just the fun of eating healthy.
You know what? I want to interrupt you for just a minute because you're making me think about this. My show, I have young kids. I have toddlers. I have babies, but especially the toddlers. I mean, you can do something as simple as that with a toddler. When you go to make a healthy dinner, you can talk about the color. What color is this? What color is this salad? What color is the lettuce? You can start really young. You don't have to wait till they can walk and go find, the rainbow, which it's great. I love this. Yeah. I love the rainbow. I love playing the color game, S's for Saturday or greens for Monday. What a wonderful teaching tool for parents and for kids.
There's a handful that everyone has come to know. Like I said, carrots, vitamin K is in the oranges. People know that the blues, blueberries have a lot of antioxidants, etc. But there's a whole host of other things. So we have, if you're in the blues, then you pick out. And the purples, you pick out eggplants and purple cabbages, and there's all kinds of tomatoes that are that color. There's even purple carrots and purple beans and things of this nature.
I saw a purple sweet potato for Thanksgiving this year at Trader Joe's. They had purple sweet potatoes that they were pushing. And what's interesting too? I always said let your toddler help you prepare the meal. It makes them want to taste it. Even a young toddler can rip lettuce.
That's right.
They don't have to use a knife.
That's right. Well, a very common question that's given, and by the way, we put our Santas that are in farmers market through some training so that they are prepared to answer questions like that. So the question we often get is, how do you get them to buy in? And like I say, looking for garden bites, eating the rainbow, try and pick out colors. Try to have your children be responsible for at least one meal a week. Now, obviously, if they're little, you're going to have to help them. But by the time they get to middle school, they should be able to handle producing one meal a week themselves, and that will get them into recipes. That will get them to thinking about what types of food they want to have, other than just opening up macaroni and cheese. And then, of course, last but by no means least, if you have the place for a garden, get them to understand that food comes from a plant. Let them grow it. Let them see the seeds sprout, etc. And even if you don't have a garden, but you have a balcony, get a big pot, put it out there, and let them grow something. Even if it's just a tomato, they'll begin to start getting back, and that's the key word, getting back to eating healthy. All of this. I said I'd come back to obesity, and I'll do it at this point in time, but all of this metabolic disease, and that's really what it is. Obesity is the symptom of metabolic diseases, but all of this occurred in the last 20 to 30 years. We didn't have any of this before. It's the advent of the processed food and the fast food, and that's become the norm, and it's created healthcare costs. I think we're going to have a guest coming on a little later in the show that is with the Institute for Responsible Nutrition, which is started by a bunch of wonderful doctors at the University of California, San Francisco Medical School, and he'll talk about the research that they've done. But the fact of the matter is all of this is new, and the types of diseases, metabolic diseases we're now seeing in elementary school never existed 20 years ago. And the costs associated with that are enormous. Now, what's this have to do with? This sounds more like an economic discussion. The fact of the matter is, Santas truly care about the children, and they want the children to be healthy. Our mantra is we want them to be healthy, happy, and fit for life. And that can only happen if they eat real food, eat a genuine, healthy diet, not a processed diet that removes the fibers and the nutrients and all that sort of thing.
You know, and it's interesting, too, because when you look at the baby foods now, they have organic baby food, but some of the companies there's nothing in it. It's called just peas or just peaches or just whatever. There's nothing in it. And it's interesting because I run an infant room, and I have many mothers tell me that when they start their babies on baby food, around 6-7 months, a lot of moms are introducing avocado, which is something that when I had my babies, I would have never even thought of introducing an avocado to a baby. And I hear all these moms introducing these great vegetables that you would never think about, or a banana. And, years ago, they'd open a jar of bananas and it was mixed with sugar or high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
Moms take the banana and they mash it up with a fork until it gets to the right, liquidy consistency, and they're getting real food again. So it has to start at the beginning.
Yes, it does. And again, the word convenient is so pervasive in terms of, it's so easy, you just open the package, you just open the jar, etc. Except that in the jar, they have processed out all of the things, not all of the things, but most of the things that are useful for the child to eat. They processed out the fiber, they've processed out much of the nutrients, and then they've added chemicals and they've added sugar. And like I say, 74% of the food sold in America has added sugar in it. That's absurd. It's unsustainable. I mean, the health care costs. I don't want to steal the show from the Institute for Responsible Nutrition, but I can tell you this: the health care costs associated with the bad diet that we have are costing us $1.4 trillion. That's T like in Tom, trillion dollars. Completely unnecessary costs if we only ate a proper diet.
Well, let's go eat a healthy snack because we're going to have a break, and we will be right back, and I know we're going to have another guest call in.
We'll be right back with more help. For help, my baby came without instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these. If you're ready for a big change in your work, your career, your happiness, your life, it's time for the $1 Million Mindset with Marla Tabaka. Monday afternoons at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com. Marla believes that with the right mindset, anything is possible. Join us as successful life coach Marla Tabaka inspires you and her clients to explore, discover, and live your dreams by developing what she calls the $1 Million Mindset. Marla will inspire you to take action on your dreams and reveal secrets to success that will help you realize your own unique power. Tune into the $1 Million Mindset for heartwarming stories with Marla Tabaka. Learn tips and tricks to building a successful business and unlock the secrets to creating a happier, more balanced life through abundant thinking and attraction power. For more information on the $1 Million Mindset, go to our website, marlatabaka.com. That's MarlaTabaka.com. It's the $1 Million Mindset with Marla Tabaka. Monday afternoons at 2, 1 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
We live in an instant society, and we don't like to wait for anything. When it comes to weight loss, we want that extra weight off now. Even though the temptation is there to try a crash diet, it is not the best choice. You need to lose weight gradually, not instantly. When you cut your calories back too much, you will feel fatigued and have very low energy. Harvard Medical School recommends that women do not go below 1,200 calories a day, and men do not go below 1,500 calories per day. A sensible goal is to try to lose a half a pound to a pound a week. Don't skimp on essential nutrients that your body needs. Losing weight does not have to be a dreaded event. It should be positive and will give you extra energy when it's done right. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond. Visit our Facebook fan page at Fitness Minute with Annette Hammond.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I am so happy you could tune in today, or if you're listening to a podcast and you have a question or comment, you can always go to my website, mybestparentingadvice.com, under contact, or you can send me an email at babyinstructions@cox.net. And if you want to call in, the number again here is 877-864-4869. And if you just tuned in, I am talking to Santa, the sustainable Santa. What could be better 10 days before Christmas?
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. Anyway, we have another wonderful guest that's calling in, Wolfram Alderson, and I am going to welcome him and let him tell you about his program and the wonderful site I was looking at this morning. My gosh, there's recipes. There's everything for moms, dads, parents. You have to go to this site, but I will welcome Wolfram. Welcome to the show, and you're on. Tell my listeners all about you and what you do and how parents can contact you.
Well, thank you for having me. I've got a little cold this morning, so sorry for my froggy voice.
I know, it's that time of year, isn't it?
But I'm just, first of all, very pleased you're doing the show and talking to Sustainable Santa, who's really focused on changing the culture around food and the holidays, which is so important, not just around Christmas, but all the other holidays. As you well know, we celebrate with food, and so much of our food has added sugar, and so his efforts to really shift that culture are really very, very important. So we're very pleased to be working with Richard and Sustainable Santa. I co-founded the Institute with Dr. Robert Lustig, and he's a baby doctor, a pediatric endocrinologist at UCSF, and he got tired of seeing little kids, very sick kids, coming into his clinic and only being able to treat them and not prevent them from coming to his clinic in the first place. So he did a lecture back in 2005 called Sugar the Bitter Truth, which has now been seen by over 6 million people. And that's pretty impressive for a talking head academic lecture that has a lot of technical aspects to it. And he then wrote a book called Fat Chance, which became a New York Times bestseller. And he's still a practicing doctor and researcher, and he needed this work to carry on and take on a life of its own so he can continue his day job. And so we founded the Institute for Responsible Nutrition to help prevent the tsunami of children that are arriving at his doorstep. My career started 35 years ago, and I happened to work in a senior center back then. And we used to call type 2 diabetes senior citizens diabetes or geriatric diabetes. And now, of course, type 2 diabetes, the onset is in childhood, which is really a tragedy, and that's happened just in 3 decades. So we're really about changing food so that it conveys health instead of disease, which is what food is supposed to do. But unfortunately, the processed food and our current food system is not delivering health. It's delivering chronic disease on the epic level. And so we're working to address some of the big myths and reasons that, the causes of this epidemic. And I'd be happy to share more about that, but I'm sure you have some questions.
It's interesting because I was looking at your site this morning, and sometimes, first of all, like I was saying to Santa, to Richard before the break, it has to start at the beginning. And what new parents don't realize is that it may take a few minutes longer to, mash a banana than to open a jar. Or when the toddlers get older, it may take a few more seconds to do something healthier. But it's so worth it, and it doesn't take that much longer. Before the break, what I was saying is a lot of parents are now introducing their little babies 6-7 months to avocado, which I think is so fabulous because, they're bringing in the fresh fruits instead of things in the jar. But the other piece of it is that new parents, and I wonder what Dr. Lustig would say, new parents are just, this is what I do. You know what? I've taken care of over 1,000 babies, toddlers, parents. And the one thing that I see is that they're so anxious to get their baby started on all the foods. It's like, you know what? You don't have to do it right away. They're going to eat by the time they go to kindergarten. And you know, I think this is such a good message because even if they take a young baby to the farmer's market, they love to look around and see the colors and see everything. So,
well, your point is really well taken. I think one way to look at this is while it might take more time to scratch cook and make baby food or food for your children from scratch, keep in mind you're going to be spending less time at the doctor's office, and that is not fun time, you know. And I've been there, like Richard, had my own troubles with weight and food-related disease, and it's not fun. And it starts in childhood. And if you can get kids on the right track early, you're not only going to save time with early childhood doctor visits, but really a lifetime of doctor's visits. And Richard mentioned the cost, but it's just simply not fun. It's just not. It's a huge time suck to be going to the doctor's office. And once you are dealing with type 2 diabetes, it's not easy to turn that around. So we really don't want to go there. And the pathway to metabolic disease really starts in your childhood. And now, unfortunately, we're seeing some children that have even been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in the womb because of the dietary habits of the mother.
Wow, really? Also you talk about, I was watching one of Dr. Lustig's videos this morning, and he was talking about a calorie is not a calorie because we're all taught that calories in, calories out, you'll lose weight. And, what he says is it's not true. The same calories are not the same calories. Can you talk about that a little?
Yes, to understand what a calorie is, you need to understand how they actually measure calories. They put it in something called a bomb calorimeter, which is basically a small oven with, scientific instruments attached to it, and they burn stuff up in it, and then they measure they actually measure how much the degree change in water boiling. And so, as you can imagine, the human body is not an oven. And when you put food into it, there's this whole biochemical response, and there's also response to little tiny things in your gut biome, microorganisms, and you're actually more microorganisms than you are you. And so, I think our fundamental understanding of food and the way we measure food using a calorie has really tricked us into thinking that food is something that is inanimate, that can be measured just by the amount of energy released. And what we're focusing on now in nutrition is the nutrients and the beneficial microorganisms that are in the food, not just the energy. So food is more than fuel, and we all need energy. But if you're just burning gasoline and you're not getting any nutrients, your body actually robs your body of nutrients. So when you're drinking sugar water like a Coke or any sugary beverage, it's not empty calories. Those calories are actually robbing your body of nutrients in order to process those calories, as opposed to mother's milk or almond milk or other water, other healthy beverages are actually contributing to your body's health as opposed to extracting. And
so
that's
let me ask you
the big story behind processed food. So much of processed food is really not nourishing you; it's robbing you, and that's fundamental to this idea of a calorie is not a calorie. The calories in almonds are not the same as the calories in Cheetos. Yeah. And they're very different, and they have very different responses as they go through the metabolic pathway. And that is what contemporary nutrition science is teaching us, and that's what we're trying to get out to the general public.
Well, you know what, Wolfram, these are great messages. It's so interesting to understand the calories. Thank you so much for calling into the show, and I want to wish you a happy holiday.
Thank you, and keep up the good work, both of you.
Thank you.
It's so important.
Get over that cold, Wolfram.
You feel better. Eat some healthy food.
Blythe, I mentioned that one of the things that we do is we train the Santas that go into the farmers markets. We've run training programs for over 400 Santas now. Now, understand, we're all real bearded Santas, meaning it's not glued on, etc. Right. You asked me if I've always had a beard. I've always had, since I was 35, I've always had pure white hair. I'm Swedish by descent, and my family all turned from blonde to white-haired at about age 35. But if I want to go back to the training, one of the little training exercises that I use is I bring in a 20-ounce Pepsi, and it says right on there, this Pepsi contains only 250 calories. And I say, okay, Santas, this Pepsi, if you drink it, it will, in fact, be assimilated by your body. I'm not going to go into it goes to your liver wakes up the pancreas, the pancreas takes it and puts it into the blood sugar, etc. But by 5 to 7 minutes, it's in your system, okay? Now, I hold up a little plastic bag with 37 raw almonds. 37 raw almonds, depending on the size, but 37, 38 raw almonds also has 250 calories. And I point out that when you eat the raw almonds, your stomach and your gut, if you will, where all these wonderful little peps that you have, otherwise known as the bacteria that's in your gut, when you eat the raw almonds, they say, hey, look, we've got raw almonds. Let's take about 2.5 hours to digest this. So one goes slam bam into your blood sugar and you wear it. The other takes a long period of time to be digested, and you use it. And that's, of course, the key to whole, real food.
I love it. I'm going to have to interrupt you because we're going to break for a commercial in just a few seconds. But I just wanted to say I love that because, you know what, I am not a big soda drinker, and I never was, and we never had it in our house. Maybe special occasions we had it. But the almonds, you're right, they take longer to eat. They're more satisfying, and especially somebody that's just mindlessly snacking and they go and grab the soft drinks. If you go and grab some almonds and you really pay attention to when you're chewing them.
Almonds.
They have to be raw, right. They can't have sugar-coated.
If they're sugar-coated, then you defeated it.
Has to be raw. I don't know about the salt. I think that's personal, but I can't have the sugar or the any coating. Anyway, that's what I would pick, and it gives you something, it satisfies you. So on that note, I'm going to see if I have some almonds. I'll be right back with Santa. Stay with us.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these. Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Be here for Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer. Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Tricia will dig deep into topics that matter most to women, inspiring women to make a change in their own lives and to make a difference in the world, and maybe even deep within their own hearts. Tricia is a wife, mom, speaker, family expert, and author of 24 books. For more information on Tricia and Living Inspired, go to her website, TriciaGoyer.com. That's TriciaGoyer.com. Tricia's vision is to be the voice of hope and possibility for women of all ages. Her intention is to serve ordinary women by encouraging extraordinary things with God's help. Tricia expresses real life, real hope for real women. Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer. Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Having the right gear when you exercise is valuable and can really make a difference to your workout. When your feet hurt, your whole body hurts. Having the correct shoes with the right support is critical, but the socks that you choose can also make a big difference to how your feet feel. There are many excellent choices when it comes to workout socks. Choose socks that absorb moisture and perspiration. Feet can get really hot when you exercise, so choose socks that breathe and help your feet stay cool and dry. Having soft cushioning makes a substantial difference and can add comfort to your feet. Your socks should also protect your feet from friction and prevent blisters. Investing in good athletic socks that fit well is highly worth it and can add positive results to your workout. I'm Annette Hammond. To hear other fitness and weight loss tips, visit our website at AnnetteHammond.com.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better eat your broccoli. I'm telling you why. Oh, my God, you're going to get sick from hearing me. I have Santa, Sustainable Santa, on the show this morning, and he's so great. And we're talking about how to introduce healthy foods, how to not give lots of sugar to your little ones. And it all starts from the beginning. But before we talk a little bit about the pets in your body, and you have to hear this because it's really so true, I want to ask Santa, Richard, what his favorite parenting tip is, because I know he has many grandchildren.
Well, my favorite parenting trip or grandparenting trip is to try to sit down with them and try to urge them to make things. Everything is connected, and the bad diet we have, which is served up by the fast food places in the food courts at the malls, etc., that goes hand in hand with the shop till you drop mentality of going and buying things, and then, of course, it gets then turned into a yard sale item 6 months later, etc.
So, what kind of things?
We actually have, and the farmers in the farmers markets have a little book that they make available that tells the parents how to take the little round slab that is cut off the bottom of the Christmas tree, the Christmas tree lot. You can get those little slabs, and you can actually, after the Christmas season's over, you can cut some slabs for next year, and you can turn those into little ornaments. You paint a little Santa face on them, and you can take. There's ways that you can take corn husks and make corn husk angels. You can take. They're called pine cone scales, the little pieces of the pine cone, and if you look at it, it ends up looking very much like a Santa face with a little hat and a little beard.
Cute.
And you'll never eat an oyster again without looking at the oyster and seeing if there's a Santa face in the oyster shell. And you'll find that 90% of the oyster shells have a Santa in them. And so you can use all of those things to make ornaments. So for years, with our grandchildren, of which we have 8, we've been making all kinds of Christmas ornaments out of things that you can find in your garden or in the forest or along the seashore. And if you make them and you give them as a gift, whoever you give them to will cherish it. It's not like something you just went and bought. Anybody can buy. But if you make it, then whoever you give it to will say, little Johnny, little Blythe made this for me, and I'm just going to keep this the rest of my life.
What a perfect tip. And you know what? Spending that one-to-one time with your grandchildren or children, that's what they remember.
That's right.
Absolutely. Exactly. I love it. Perfect.
And every year they'll as they get older and older, every year they'll put it on their tree and they'll remember that particular Christmas. So absolutely.
I love it. Well, thank you for sharing that. This is going to go very quick because it's the last segment. Tell my listeners where they can find you or more information, and then I want you to talk a little bit about the pets in our body that we need to feed.
Well, they can go to YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel called Sustainable Santa, and there's a whole number. They're called Sustainable Santa Sagas. They're all numbered. My favorite is Sustainable Santa Saga number 11, where we're hiking in the middle of the San Andreas Fault.
It's
10
great.
stories down in a crack in the earth that's only about 20 inches wide, hoping that there won't be an earthquake, because if the two sides come together, we'll be squished like a bug. But that's kind of the metaphor for what we're trying to do in the malls. What we're trying to do in the farmers markets, which is to thread that effort to get people to think that Santa is a promoter of good health. 30 seconds for a quick commercial. Only American Santas are fat. And that's because when Clement Moore wrote that Night Before Christmas poem in 1823, he billed Santa as the Jelly Belly guy because the wealthy in the 1820s showed their wealth by being fat. That would have died, except Coca-Cola picked it up in 1931 and came out with their first Christmas Santa with this 350-pound guy drinking the pause that doesn't refresh, it gives you diabetes. And so Americans got sold, it's madmen. Americans got sold the notion that Santa is fat, European Asian Santas are not, and that Santa wears a Coca-Cola colored suit.
Fat and jolly.
Coca-Cola can take credit, and they deserve it, for inventing the red suit with the white cuffs.
Wow.
European
Thin and
Santas
healthy, though.
Huh?
Let's change it to thin and healthy. Are you going to take this program to schools or other places besides the farmers market?
We already do. We accept all kinds of invitations. Some schools think of Santa as part of a religious thing, so there's a little reluctance in some places in some communities. But I take us to charter schools and various other things, and I show them things like I mentioned, the Pepsi that says 250 calories on it, and I show them a little bag of almonds, and I say, these are both 250 calories. This is Dr. Lustig's point. A calorie is not a calorie.
Right.
They're both 250 calories, but one gets put into your body and into your blood sugar within minutes. The other one takes hours, and that's the difference. That's what he means when he says a calorie is not a calorie.
Well, you know what? You need to have a sustainable Hanukkah Harry to go into the Jewish preschools.
Absolutely.
So very quickly, because we're coming to the end, talk to my listeners about the pets in our body that we need to feed.
Well, that's the other thing we try to. There's only so much you can do in a farmer's market, but you can do so many more things in a farmer's market than you can do in a mall. And one of the things we can talk about is the fact that every person has in their body thousands and thousands of wonderful little pets. These are the little bacteria that's in your gut, if you will, in your digestive tract, that are responsible for breaking down whatever you put in there. And the point is, you should put things in there that are good for them, and the ones that encourage the good bacteria. There's bad bacteria too. So eating whole, fresh food, or fermented, or raw, is eating the good bacteria. We always get a kick out of the fact that if you look at television today, there's all these commercials about dog food and how this dog food has fresh this and fresh that and it's full of nutrients, etc. But there's virtually no television ads that talk about this food for your children is good. It's all fast and convenient and loaded with sugar and other chemicals, etc. So the television tells you how to keep your dog happy, but doesn't tell you how to keep your child happy from a health point of view.
No, it's really interesting. So, there needs to be some more commercials with healthy commercials, how to keep your kids healthy. But, it's interesting, again, when I was looking at the site, it doesn't take much longer to make any of the recipes that you have on the site. There's some really good-looking recipes.
Well,
at the Institute for Responsible Nutrition, right, that's IRN, and you know what? It's easy.
And that is what your listeners should be looking at. They should be looking at the Institute for Responsible Nutrition. Simply put that into your search engine, and you'll come up with all kinds of things, including recipes. And Wolfram, you couldn't cover everything, but one of my favorites that they have is that they have healthy fast food. They have a whole series of recipes that you can make in less than 15 minutes. That's pretty fast. A lot of people think, I don't have the time to shop for organic vegetables. It takes so long to prepare. No, it doesn't. They have lots and lots and lots of things that you can make that are healthy, and you can make them in less than 15 minutes. And that's
and it's
fast.
interesting. An interesting tip: when my kids were little, I used to plan my meals for the week, and I used to go to the grocery store one time on Sunday, so that you spend more money when you go every day. And things that are so simple, kids love fries. You can make baked sweet potato fries. You can make all kinds of baked potato fries. They don't even have to be potatoes.
You can make kale chips. You
can make kale chips, of which I always burn. You can make maybe I'm using the wrong recipe, but anyway, it's fun. And, kids like things that crunch, so the salads are good. the carrots. And if you're going to make a dip, there's recipes for healthy dips on the site. Again, for the Institute for Responsible Nutrition, kids love to dip anything. So on that note, I have to say goodbye. Richard, thank you.
It's
Santa,
been a pleasure
thank
being
you.
with you.
Have a wonderful holiday. Say hello to Mrs. Claus, Mrs. Sustainable Santa.
I will.
And we will talk to you again. You take care. Have a nice holiday.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And a healthy one.
Oh, thank you to everybody. Take care. Wow, what a fun show.
Bye-bye.
As we were talking, the recipes are really easy, simple. It's just as easy to give your kids healthy foods as it is to pop that dinner in the microwave or the macaroni and cheese. Cook on the weekends for the week, free stuff. Start with organics, or if you can't do organic, just do some healthy foods. Anyway, today I would like to end the show with a little poem written by me. 'Twas the week before Christmas and TogiNet was on. The host had her headphones and prayed nothing would go wrong. The producers were seated with buttons and knobs. It's showtime, said Karina, giving everyone a nod. The intro was playing and Blythe didn't make a peep. The music was ending and she was ready to speak. Good morning, my listeners, my parents and friends, my guests and my children, and the TogiNet family, you're all the best. The holiday is here and the year is almost done. Without all of you, it just wouldn't have been fun. So sending big hugs and a thank you to all for listening and following in all of your calls. Baby and Toddler Instructions has filled me with pride, with gratitude and humility, and oh, what a ride. Have a wonderful holiday, creating memories galore. I'll see you next year. Of that, you can be sure. So I want to wish everyone a happy holiday from the bottom of my heart. Have fun. Be safe, and as I always say, enjoy creating wonderful memories to last a lifetime, no matter how old your kids are. The youngest of the youngest, they love the paper. They can crinkle up the paper. It's so funny. We used to get gifts, and my kids, when they were babies, 6 months, they liked the paper. Get everybody involved and create those memories. And now it's so easy with all of our smartphones. Take lots and lots of pictures, because I can tell you that even now my children are in their 30s, and I have a grandson. As you all know, it'll be his first holiday. Even now we sit around and we laugh at some of the things we used to do 30-some years ago, and we'll get pictures out and look at them. So I want you all to just have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Try not to stress. Don't eat too many cookies, as Santa just said, or put some vegetables with it when you're eating. And don't forget to tell everyone how much you love them. So I will see you on January 5th, my first show in 2016, and we have some great guests already scheduled. So happy holidays! Bye-bye!
Healthy, happy, and fit for life.
See you. Bye-bye.